The Golden Goose.
In a village where strength was measured by the wood you chopped, Leo was often forgotten. His older brothers had already marched into the woods with fine cakes and wine, seeking the legendary heart tree. Leo followed behind with only scraps. Yet he was the only one who stopped when a small voice called from the shadows of the ancient pines. The old man looked hungry and tired, his cloak blending into the forest floor. Leo did not hesitate. He shared his meager meal, offering the dry bread with a genuine smile. To his surprise, as the elder took a bite, the hard crust transformed into a warm, sweet pastry that smelled of honey and cinnamon, filling the air with magic. As a reward for his kindness, the elder pointed toward the roots of a withered tree. He told Leo that true gold is found by those who look where others see only decay. With a few careful swings of his axe, the wood split open, revealing not splinters, but the shimmering, metallic glow of a living treasure tucked within the bark. From the hollow of the tree emerged a goose with feathers of pure, radiant gold. She was heavy and warm, like a stone baked in the sun. Leo held her gently, amazed that such a creature existed in his quiet world. With a soft honk, the bird tucked her head against his chest, sensing the kindness in his heartbeat. Leo headed for the village inn to rest, but word of his golden companion spread faster than a forest fire. His brother Jasper, driven by greed, waited in the shadows of the porch. He didn't see a living creature. He saw a fortune that could buy the finest workshop in the land. He reached out, his fingers trembling with anticipation. The magic was as stubborn as the greed that triggered it. When Jasper touched the goose, he found he couldn't let go. When Silas tried to pull his brother away, he too became part of the line. Leo continued his walk, seemingly unaware of the weight, as his brothers stumbled behind him, trapped by their own selfish desires. The parade of the greedy grew longer with every mile. A curious baker, thinking he could help, or perhaps grab a feather for himself, reached out and instantly became the third link in the chain. Leo marched on with a steady pace, his eyes fixed on the horizon, while the group behind him argued and tripped over their own feet. It seemed the more people tried to interfere, the more the magic claimed them. A young girl had tried to stop the baker, and a chimney sweep had tried to pull her back. Now, 6 people were joined in a clumsy dance of shadows. Despite the growing weight, Leo felt strangely light, as if the goose was helping him carry the burden. They finally reached the gates of the capital, a place where no music had played for years. The king had promised a great reward to anyone who could make his daughter smile again. Leo didn't care about the gold. He only felt a pull toward the tall, lonely tower where a girl sat watching the world through a cold glass window. The courtyard was a sea of gray stone and heavy silence, but the arrival of Leo's parade changed everything. The sound of boots scuffing, the baker's flour puffing into the air, and the brothers' constant bickering echoed off the walls. Leo walked with a gentle dignity, unaware of how absurd the human chain behind him truly looked. Princess Clara had seen fire eaters, magicians, and the finest comedians, yet her heart remained locked in a winter of sadness. She looked down at the boy in the woodcutter's apron. At first, she saw only another traveler, but then she saw the golden bird and the ridiculous, struggling group of people who couldn't let go of their greed. Suddenly, Jasper slipped on a patch of moss. Because they were all joined, the baker pulled the chimney sweep, who pulled the village girl, until they were all tumbling in a slow-motion circle of confusion. It was a dance of arrows, a chaotic ballet of people trapped by their own desire for more than they needed. The silence of the palace was suddenly shattered by a sound no one had heard in years. It started as a small breath, then grew into a light, melodic chime. Princess Clara was laughing. Watching the greedy men and the confused villagers tumble like clumsy wooden dolls was the first real, human thing she had seen in a lifetime of staged performances. King Alaric rushed to his daughter's side, his heavy crown momentarily forgotten. He saw his daughter's eyes shining with life, her laughter ringing out like bells in the spring air. He looked down at the simple boy with the golden bird. This wasn't a powerful sorcerer or a wealthy prince, but a kind soul who had brought joy through a simple accident. As the princess's laughter filled the air, the magical bond began to pulse. The golden bird sensed that her mission was complete. The magic wasn't meant to punish, but to show that greed only leads to a tangled, stuck life. With a gentle flap of her wings, a wave of warmth washed over the line of people, loosening the invisible grip. One by one, the travelers fell away, rubbing their hands and looking at the ground in shame. The magic had vanished the moment the laughter began, leaving them with nothing but the realization of their own foolishness. Leo didn't scold them or boast. He simply offered a hand to Jasper, his eldest brother, who looked at Leo with newfound respect. The king summoned Leo to the throne room, not as a jester, but as a guest of honor. As Leo walked through the high halls, the servants stopped their work to watch him pass. He wasn't the tallest or the strongest, but he was the boy who carried the sun in his arms and brought a song back to a silent house. King Alaric offered Leo chests of jewels and titles of nobility, but Leo's eyes stayed on the princess. He saw that she didn't want a savior. She wanted a friend who understood the value of a simple, honest life. Leo set the golden goose on the velvet rug, and for the first time, Clara stepped down from her dais. Leo didn't ask for a crown. He asked for a place where he could build and create. The king granted him a workshop by the forest, where the princess became a frequent visitor. They spent their afternoons talking about the world beyond the palace walls, finding magic in the scent of cedar and the rhythm of a steady heart. The golden goose remained with Leo, a reminder that kindness is the only treasure that grows when shared. The village was no longer a place of competition, but a community that learned to laugh at its own flaws. Leo looked at the horizon, knowing that the greatest magic wasn't the gold in his arms, but the joy he had set free.